John, to your right, AJ.
AJ, when you look at teams that have won the World Series in recent years, the Giants were known for their starting rotation. The Cardinals are that team that's never out of it, even with 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 9th inning. What do you feel like the identity of this Dodgers team is?
You know, obviously our identity, I feel like, is talent. I mean, we are just so top heavy with so many talented players. Guys like Hanley and Adrian, and guys who aren't even healthy right now, like Matt and Andre, and the list goes on and on and on. Clayton, Zach. So I mean, we are a talented team, and when that talent shines through when we're out there on the field, it shows. And it kind of was the trademark of that run we went on.
No questions? I will get to the microphone over here.
Having said that, when you put that much talent together, it could go either way sometimes, personalities and whatnot. Why do you think it worked with you guys?
I got to give a lot of credit to Don Mattingly in the way that he kept our team together, even when we were really struggling. We were going through that rough patch early in the year, fighting through injuries. He kept us together, and basically through his consistency, he never changed. He was the same guy, the same man, the same manager throughout throughout that storm. And he came through every day, positive attitude. Today's the day we're going to turn this around, and eventually we did. So we're happy that he was able to stick around, and we were able to prove him right.
To your right, AJ.
AJ, yesterday Zach Greinke gave you a lot of credit for his success. What goes into the kind of preparing and game planning with Zach, and how much does he really contribute to that as well?
Zach's, very similar to Clayton in that they're both amazing studiers. These are guys who really prepare, not just physically, but mentally before their starts. And Zach's been watching a lot of video, as he does for every start. It's no different today. We'll sit down and we'll share ideas, and generally we'll be on the same page from the get-go. And we'll take that game plan into the game, and hopefully it just creates a smooth rhythm between the two of us.
Dylan?
AJ, you've obviously seen Adrian Gonzalez play from a distance for several years. Now that you've been alongside him for the last year and a half, what have you learned about him, particularly in regards to his approach to hitting?
Adrian is probably the smartest hitter I've ever played with, and that he hits for the situation. Never gets too aggressive, never gets too patient. He just knows what the pitcher's trying to do to him. He's another guy who studies relentlessly in the video room, probably more so than any hitter I've been around. He has a great idea, great plan with every at-bat he takes. He never wastes a single at-bat. And he's been so amazing in run-producing situations for us. There's nobody else we'd rather have up in a big situation than Adrian, that's for sure.
To your right, AJ.
AJ, this offseason you guys brought in Greinke and Ryu kind of for this situation. So how nice is it now to have a coach all in game one? You still got big guns like Greinke and Ryu these next 2 games.
Yeah, it's a nice luxury to have, but it doesn't really mean much until we get out there on the field. We still have to play. They're a great team who's going to do everything they can to, even the series tonight. So it's going to be a big test for us. They're going to be playing with a lot of energy, and Zach's going to do his part, hopefully, and just be who he has been this entire second half of the year. Hopefully keep us in the game and give us a chance to win like we ask all of our starters to do. And hopefully we're able to scratch some runs across and have a good trip back to LA.
To your right, AJ. Mark.
Hey, how are Zach and Clayton different to work with, both going into a game and then when you're working with them out there?
Yeah, well, Clayton is just so focused, and he has such a quiet demeanor the day he pitches, very stoic. It's almost like you can't even look him in the eye because he's so serious and so prepared. Where 10 minutes before the start, Zach's going to try to work a fantasy football trade out with me. Trying to figure out how he can better his team. So definitely different personalities on game day. But once the game starts, these guys are seriously competitive, and they don't want to give anything away. They have so much pride, and they like to compete, not just with against the other team, but there's some unspoken competition between each other as well. Where these are 2 proud guys. We're both Cy Young Award winners, and it shows out there on the field. I think they bring out the best in each other, which is great to have on your team.
Bill.
AJ, the team didn't particularly play well in September, didn't really have to. Was there a sense of flipping the switch for yesterday, getting back into an edge on your game?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we had to see if it was going to happen or not. Flipping the switch in baseball is really hard to do. Most of the teams who have had success in the past are teams who are hot coming into the playoffs. You see a lot of wild card teams who get hot because they're playing all the way through the end of September. With us, we kind of had the division wrapped up a lot earlier than I think any of us expected. So we had the fortunate luxury to rest a lot of guys, get guys healthy, get guys back on the field, hopefully 100%. But until we got to yesterday's game and saw if we could get that edge back that we had during that amazing run we had in the middle of the season. We didn't know. But, we were fortunate. Clayton's on the mound. We feel really good, and guys had great at bats the entire game.
First row.
AJ, gonna fast forward one game here, if you don't mind. Can you talk about Ryu's development this season and how you think he'll handle the stage of a Game 3?
This is definitely not going to be the biggest game he's ever pitched, which is a nice thing to say about him. And this is a guy who's basically the Clayton Kershaw of his country, and best pitcher and there for years. He's a guy who's pitched in WBCs and Olympics, so he's pitched on the big stage before. And we've even seen that this season, games where he's kind of raised his level. I can remember a game against Cincinnati when Shu came to town, and this is a big matchup between the two of them. Biggest game back in Korea, from what I've heard, most watched major league game of all time, and he's throwing 95 miles an hour from the first pitch, and this is a guy who usually throws 89 and 90, so he can raise his level, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do on Sunday, because he's a big game pitcher who's got so many different weapons, so many different ways to get you out, and he's been a joy to catch, a joy to have as a teammate. He's just he's a guy who's all about us, all about winning, and I think he's going to be great.
To your left,
AJ, there's a lot of talk about the format for the division series with the higher seed team starting at home this year. How much of a difference do you think that really makes?
I don't think it really matters. I think you still have to play the game no matter what. And for us, we've for whatever reason we've been a really good road team this year. I think we come together on the road. Some of the distractions of being in Los Angeles tend to disappear. Can kind of just gel and bond a little bit more. And we've had some great success. It's kind of like we kind of enjoy that hostile underdog environment, even though we're probably never the underdogs per se with our lineup and the people we have, but maybe it's the one chance where we can kind of feel like it's us against a big group, and we really thrive in those situations. And we enjoy playing on the road together. It's been great.